Guys, what does Michael Rubin know about running a sports card store? Fanatics, the direct-to-consumer e-commerce giant, now wants to start scoring sports card stores and monitoring their social media posts. Dealers who kiss the most might be able to get more allocation of product. But are shop owners too eager to drink the Fanatics Kool-Aid? Will the shops who stand out from the crowd be the ones left standing in the end? Make sure to get off your feet for a minute, kick back, relax. We even hit the road and traveled to some card shops today. On this episode of Sports Card Radio, trying to find out if kissing the butt of Topps and Fanatics is really worth it.
And the number one thing that Fanatics does and that I love and respect is Fanatics listens to the collector. They care about the collector.
There's a new sheriff in town in the sports card world, Fanatics, which by 2026 will own all the major licenses in the industry. Recently, they told new and old shop owners at a dealer conference in Atlanta to play by their rules or perhaps be left out in the cold. Hobby hero Jeff Wilson described the vibe in the room as put up or shut up time for shop owners.
The whole thing to me just kind of had this feeling of like, it's put up or shut up time. It's go big or go home time. The industry is changing from kind of an old mom and pop mentality to something now much bigger, and it requires the operators and the investment now to step up to do that.
The thing is, there is no way Michael Rubin thinks opening a sports card store is a good idea. Like, really, guys, wake the up. Rubin is one of the kings of e-commerce. His direct-to-consumer strategy has made him a multi-millionaire. As far back as 6 years ago, Rubin described the future of retail. I doubt his thoughts have changed much since.
I think the future of retail is going to be far less stores. My daughter would be really embarrassed if she saw the drawing. I think you're going to have far more e-commerce and far more mobile commerce. We'll do a little bit of we'll put Fanatics here so that we know we're actually buying online. If you're selling the same merchandise at brick and mortar retail as Amazon or Alibaba sell, you're not going to be very successful. You need to be differentiated. And in general, I think you're going to have fewer, bigger, and more successful retailers.
Okay, Rubin made three really good points. The future of retail is far less stores. He is correct. We've seen the contraction of retail in America for the better part of 2 decades, it feels like. Rubin said there would be far more mobile and e-commerce options. Guys, he's correct. Your wives spend more hours on Temu and Amazon than paying attention to you.
That's not content.
And the most important point he makes is you have to sell different merchandise than Amazon to differentiate yourself from the crowd. Group breakers are going to find it more difficult to stand out compared to shop owners. Think about it. How are any group breakers going to stand out when they all sell the exact same product for about the exact same price, all while having to have a similar message and kiss the butt of Topps and Rubin on social media?
And sprinkle on some self-care and wellness on top of that.
You may think I'm joking about the butt kissing part, but here is Jeff Wilson describing the new scorecard dealers will receive from Fanatics. Score too low, and Topps won't send you boxes anymore.
You know, Topps is going to begin assessing a score for shops and expecting shops to score above a certain level. And those that don't, they're going to expect that they either need to reinvest in modernizing or improving their service or whatever it may be, or they face over time potentially losing their direct account allocation from Top.
Many of the influencers in this space and virtually all of the dealers will begin to conform to how Fanatics wants things done. And while that may be a good thing for Fanatics, that these industry leaders all start acting the same, it could prevent growth in the hobby if consumers get tired of the same cookie cutter dealers and breakers found everywhere. You're starting to see shop owners conform to the new way of business. When Topps released images of unlicensed Topps football and basketball cards last week, the universal praise could be felt across social media. Interesting, because some of these same shop owners were telling you to stay away from unlicensed cards when they weren't being scored by Rubin and Fanatics.
You only want to be buying cards that have the official logo on the card, or otherwise they're not going to be worth as much.
So shop owners are all going to be selling the same product for about the exact same price and using similar messaging. How will these shops differentiate themselves from each other? Remember, Michael Rubin said that was a key. I get the feeling many are trying to stand out by having what they feel are modern-looking card stores. The thing is, do buyers of cards really want a modern-looking card store? Take a look at this grid system display at a store in Florida recently highlighted on the Topps YouTube channel. you have to scan a QR code to access the prices of cards on display.
The grid system stands for Graded Retail Interactive Display. So you just pull out your phone, just snag scan of the QR code right here, then the entire grid pops up on your phone.
I'm not totally sure this is the way to differentiate yourself from others. Some are trying to modernize a space that isn't asking for modernization. Take QR codes as an example. Quite literally, nobody in retail uses QR codes except maybe restaurants because they are too cheap to print menus after COVID happened.
If you'd like to sign up for the training, either scan the QR code on the screen.
While a shop like the one in Florida might score very highly with Fanatics, I've been to several shops lately that any grade Fanatics gives them or allocation they receive doesn't seem to mean all that much to them. Take this small card shop in Murphy's, California, that's been open for a number of years and is a virtual time capsule. I doubt there is a QR code in the entire joint. Some locals told me he did well selling records. Either way, I peek my head in each time I go up there. I needed to see a bigger operation in person though, so I traveled out to Burbank, California to visit one of the most well-known sports card stores in the world. Once inside, it was clear that any score Michael Rubin and Topps assigned to Burbank sports cards wouldn't impact its business at all. The family-run business sells nearly 5,000 cards per day, everything from 60-cent junk wax commons to expensive Michael Jordan autographs. I was able to sit down with owner Rob Virez and ask him about the shop's unique focus. You have a lot of unopened product, but there's no group break cabanas. I don't know, but I don't think you do group breaks. What's the thought process there that you really haven't gotten into breaks? It doesn't seem like you haven't mentioned Fanatics allocation one time to me in the last 3 hours. Yeah. Talk to me about that this shop seems to be focused more on the single cards, the cards they're able to get from people walking in, the 50 people that walk in every day to sell you stuff. What's the decision making there that this store doesn't seem to be focused on unopened product?
Well, we haven't, no question, but I've always considered to be successful in this business, you can only kind of count on what happens within your four walls. You can't be reliant on any other company, any other decision maker, somebody on a whim making a decision when that can negatively impact you. Mm-hmm. So basically, I used to call it being Amazon proof, where it would be tough for another company to come in and do what you do. And now maybe it's Fanatics proof or eBay proof, whatever it happens to be, being able to rely on a system that doesn't really need assistance from any other company out there.
Burbank Sports Cards is able to differentiate themselves from other shops, some located just blocks away because they have over 40 million cheaper cards in their inventory, while also stocking a plethora of high-end cards where area dealers come in daily to see their latest inventory. To me, the best card shops have survived the license changes from Fleer to Upper Deck to Topps to Panini to Fanatics because they focus less on new product and more on servicing the needs of all collectors by offering a wide selection of merchandise. For the other card shops who are out there chasing new product and doing breaks as a means to survive, I think Fanatics is being nice to them because they find these shop owners to be useful idiots. Topps will acquire data about how much they're able to sell and perhaps set up their own retail stores in the future based on data they've acquired from these useful idiots running card stores.
Boba Fett.
My guess is Rubin and Fanatics stabs a bunch of you guys in the back at some point, and you'll have nobody to blame but yourself. Remember, it was Rubin himself who said there would be less stores, more e-commerce shopping, and to succeed, you had to sell products not found on large websites like Amazon and Fanatics. You guys who set up stores in the last few years, they may look nice.
Cards HQ is the future of retail in America.
But what differentiates you from anybody else who can open up right next door to you? We will see if any of these useful idiot card shop owners or breakers survive the long haul.